Good morning, guys and gals, Facebook world and YouTube world. This morning, I just got up. I made me a nice pot of coffee, and I'm thinking about a conversation I had with my mother. She stopped by here unannounced Sunday, and as she left church, she came here. And we ended up sitting here having a conversation and talk about God, religion, church, the Bible, the same stuff. My mother is extremely religious to the point that it's almost insane as I see it. I mean, it may sound strange to people who are very religious how someone could be insanely religious. And it got me to thinking about the black church in America and the problems that we have in America and why they're not really discussed all the time, or if at all, in these churches, and particularly black churches, African American churches here in America. An example would be HIV. If you've ever been to a church and you've had a pastor to talk about HIV, is very rare. A lot of churches don't dwell on the subject of HIV and how HIV is spread and how to prevent HIV. They don't talk about safe sex, condom use. I mean, you rarely, if ever, see a church pass out condoms or even attempt to promote safer sex within the church. I strongly feel these African American black churches here in America have a problem that is holding black Americans back and have probably been held back for the past 50 years because of the mentality inside these churches. I firmly believe they want people to be in a state of constant turmoil in their lives and unhappiness because it brings people into the church. Happy people don't go to church. Unhappy, bitter, angry, sad, depressed people looking for guidance, needing something in their life, those people attend church on a regular basis because they're unhappy with the situation in their lives. Some type of turmoil is going on in their lives, and they're seeking a higher God to help them resolve these issues, so they sit in these churches. HIV is a very good example of why pastors and ministers in these churches really don't talk about it, because they have a lot of members of their churches who are HIV positive. And these people are after they become HIV positive, they want to change their lives and end up in these churches and become slaves of the church. And they become in bondage to these churches because they want something to help them get through their crisis, get them to the other side of life, and they use these churches as a crutch. I know there are a lot of religious people out there, a lot of pastors, everybody I know is, in the church. I look at these people's lives, constant turmoil, constantly trying to get their lives together, whatever the crisis may be that day. And these churches use these problems to keep them consistently coming to church. Some of these churches, I firmly believe, may be able to help a lot of people. They could help a lot of people if they changed the way they reached out to the community. But unfortunately, if they did make a significant change in how they reached out to the community, how they helped people, a lot of members would become more happier in their lives and may not go. Now, I'm not saying every person who goes to church is unhappy or in some type of turmoil. There are some people who actually enjoy going to church and love the fellowship with their brothers and sisters at church and love the choir. There's some positive things about going to church. But overall, for me personally, I've had a very negative experience dealing with church and religion, particularly in the black community. I'm African American. I've been black all my life. I didn't just wake up and become black. I've been black a long damn time, and I've been in church of some type all my life, and it's never brought me peace or joy. As a matter of fact, it's just a place for me. Hasn't been the positive experience that a lot of people enjoy in church. I just have not experienced that. I have met pastors, or I've been to churches where some pastors had very positive messages. But overall, church for me hasn't been that life-affirming, changing thing for me. So I go, I can take it or leave it. I go sometimes. I'm not really a member of a specific church. I do attend a couple of churches here in Atlanta, but I'm not really a fan of religion, church, and some of the stuff I see taking place in there. Because I'll be very honest with you, I've sat in church next to guys that I knew were doing some very devious stuff. And these individuals are in this church every week. And these pastors avoid these subjects that could save these guys' lives. But ultimately, they really don't want to save these guys' lives because they need them to be in bondage to this church. So they want them to continue to go through that turmoil, go through the trouble, go through those problems, battle these demons with alcohol, drug use, sexual addiction. As long as they keep battling these problems, they'll continue to come to church for guidance. So a church doesn't want you to go seek a pastor or a church. They don't want you to seek outside help that may help resolve that problem. Because if you resolve that problem, you may not come back to that church. It's like, what do I need this church for? I'm over to see my psychiatrist, and I've resolved most of the issues I've had. And again, this is just my opinion. But I don't think churches are doing us any good in the black community. I don't. I don't think these churches are having any type of positive influence in our lives, particularly these mega churches and the gospel they're preaching about materialism and prosperity. It's not helping us. You having a Mercedes-Benz in your driveway, a 10,000 square foot home, being in all that debt to acquire that materialistic stuff, it's just not. The prosperity ministers really need to be run out of town. I'm serious. They need to be run out of town quickly because they're causing a lot of turmoil and pain and distress in our community. A lot of people may not understand that. They get these massive churches, 50,000 people in there. You can't even meet the pastor unless you have donated close to $1 million in some of these churches. Maybe not $1 million. They might let you slide by with a couple thousand in this recession, and then you can get in there and go meet the pastor. But I do feel that these churches don't mean us any good in the African American community, and we've got to either change these churches or leave them alone. I just don't see the positive experiences with these churches. And again, this is my opinion. I'm speaking about from my life. I'm speaking about Walter and how I feel about these churches. You may have a different experience with these churches than what I've had with these churches. But I firmly believe they are holding black people in America in bondage. And we're not moving forward. I like to see these churches do more reach out and do more community work with HIV, with sexual addiction, with some of the major problems from gambling addiction, work to help more people get a college education. That's the type of stuff I'd like to see. And I'm sure it probably is taking place in some churches, and they're probably doing this type of stuff because it needs to be done. But it's probably not being done enough from what I can tell. The enslavement that these churches have over African Americans is sad. And I think a lot of the problems that we have in our community could be resolved through churches if that's what they really wanted to do. But I don't think they want to do that. They want us to be in bondage, trapped, in pain, suffering, going through some type of turmoil so you're there every Sunday, tithing and giving to the Lord 10% of your income, whatever it may be. They need you to come through that door. They need you to be in bondage. They need you to be suffering from some type of ailment or addiction. Because it brings you back every Sunday. It brings you back faithfully to get that guidance that's not going to resolve your issue. Can God and prayer make change in your life? I think it can, if you really believe in it and want to make that change. But you can do that at home. You can pray to God right at home, get out of bed and jump down on your knees or go into your closet, prayer closet as they call it. I got a bunch of closets around here you can go walk into. I'm sure everybody has a closet they can walk into and pray. The tithing at these churches, the belief that if you tithe that you're going to be blessed with wealth, money, and a job, and the income, and a happy life because you give to the church, I don't understand. I don't subscribe to that, nor do I believe that. But a lot of people do. I've been in these churches. Every church I've ever been in particularly in recent years, preached this: if you tithe and give to the church, God will bless you with an abundant life of whatever. Bunch of nonsense is what it sounds like to me. However, again, my opinion. Some people faithfully believe in tithing. I don't see anything wrong with giving to the church. But if you're going to give to the church with expecting something back from God, good luck on that. Give because you want to give. Don't give because you expect to be blessed with some, I don't know, cure for cancer or something. But anyway, I'm about to get my day started. It's right at 9 o'clock this morning. I just wanted to talk about the bondage in these churches. I'm curious, what do you all think about it? Do you think, am I right, am I wrong? Am I misunderstanding the intentions of these churches today? Do you enjoy going to church? Do you like participating in this church? Do you think that these churches have people enslaved and in bondage today? Give me your thoughts. I'd love to read you guys' comments on my page and on YouTube. If you like the video, click like. And thank you for supporting my YouTube videos and my Facebook page. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.